Irish Guy, and this video is sponsored by Match Masters. Look how happy that pig looks. Look at him. Probably relieved he's not getting stuffed in a sandwich for Big Sam. I'll cut to the chase. If you've got a phone, you can win a car. I mean, listen to this. You're probably all wondering what Match Masters is, right? Well, it's a puzzle game where two players from around the world compete head to head to match colors on a board and get the highest score. I mean, it seems pretty easy, right? I mean, it's not exactly like being asked to decode hieroglyphics in a cave. And again, there's a car at stake and other prizes, so listen up. Listen, they have insane boosters, which you can activate after collecting stars, cubes, and so on, and you'll get extra points. I mean, there's different boosters which you can unlock, but listen to this. Every Thursday until the end of July, Match Masters is giving away 3 prizes. Now, for me, as a struggling YouTuber who sleeps in an abandoned fireplace, I'd just be happy with a home-cooked meal and a hug. But lads, for you, they're offering a 5-star holiday to Ibiza, 5 nights for 2 people, or an iPhone 13 Pro Max. I don't know what that is, but I'd imagine it costs more than my house. Or an iPad Air. I'm sorry, what? All this for playing a game on your phone? But also by downloading Match Masters through a link in the description or via QR code, you also have a chance to win a brand new car. Yes, an actual car. I'm sorry, some people have to sell their kidney on the street to afford a car, and you can get one just by downloading a game on your phone. You'd be stupid not to do this. All you have to do is collect 100 stars to enter the giveaway. I mean, that's it. That's literally it. Winners will be announced every Thursday on Match Masters' official Instagram page. Download it, and download it now. Hello, I am the Irish Guy, and this is a stunning transfer. Lad, next season, it looks like Raheem Sterling will be in a Chelsea shirt. And I can't help but feel that a lot of people inside Stamford Bridge are going to very quickly start deleting old tweets. I mean, let's be real. Outside of Manchester City, I'm pretty sure every single football club in England has quite a large portion of the fan base who think that this fella is about as much use as a shoe made of meat. There are no 2 words quite like Raheem Sterling in the English game who instantly make the hair stand up on someone's neck. I mean, I'm sure if you walk into a hardened working man's club in Sunderland or Wigan, you know, places which honestly must smell like Susan Boyle's loo, ask them what they think of Raheem Sterling, and they'd probably spit on the floor. I mean, literally trying to find any excuse they can to bring him down.
He's got a gun tattoo on his leg and has about 9 children who he doesn't feed.
He doesn't, by the way. No, the media would have you believe that his home life probably resembles the cast of Oliver Twist. No, he's 27 and he's got 2 kids. What's wrong with that? This guy is without a doubt the most undeservingly criticised footballer who England have ever produced. And I mean, ever. I mean, I'm guessing if someone rifled through his Twitter DMs, it would be the internet version of having a picnic in Beirut. I mean, imagine if his mother had the password to his Twitter account. After about 3 minutes, she'd be in floods of tears. Everybody hates Raheem. I mean, Christ, well, the true Geordie would sooner bite off his own foot than even think about paying this man a compliment. I mean, I'm not sure why, but it just seems like the done thing to pretend that this guy is an erratic toe-poke merchant who just goal hangs at the back post.
Oh, Sterling only scored tap-ins.
I'm sorry, do you know how hard it is to score tap-ins in the Premier League? I mean, people seem to think that anybody, even your great Aunt Liz, you know, the one whose brain is shot and spends half a day doing a poo on the floor, that even she would bang in 20 goals a season with servers from De Bruyne. No, lads, do you know how many attacking footballers have failed under Pep? I mean, Ferran Torres, one of the brightest young talents in football apparently, he only ever scored 9 Premier League goals for the club. I mean, Nolito the same. A star at Euro 2016 for Spain, yes, but while in England, it was like watching a waddling bin bag with 2 left feet. Easy to score tap-ins. Yeah, how many tap-ins did Jack Grealish score last season? 3, and he cost £100 million, twice the Raheem Sterling fee. And I mean, I absolutely love Leroy Sané as a footballer. To me, he's one of the most talented and skillful ballers in the world. And yeah, while at City, he never ever hit more than 10 Premier League goals in a season. But lads, 2 seasons ago, Liverpool won the league, yes, and City boasted a limp, meek title defence, but still, everyone forgets this man still scored 20 goals in the Premier League. I mean, if Sterling was allowed to take penalties, he'd have won the Golden Boot and come out of lockdown with a 40-goal season in the bag. He basically would have emulated what Cristiano Ronaldo did for Man United during the 07-08 season at Old Trafford when he went on to win a Ballon d'Or. Nobody ever talks about Sterling in the 1920 season. The story was just about Liverpool running away with the league, but honestly, those were world-class levels that no other English winger in Premier League history has ever reached. And I mean ever. I mean, apparently he's not a big game player. He basically scored a hat-trick in the FA Cup final. And I mean, okay, to be fair, that was only against lowly Watford, yes. But he also scored the winning goal against Real Madrid in the Champions League. I mean, is that big enough for you? And people forget, that do-or-die Champions League epic clash with Tottenham. If VAR had not been introduced literally the previous summer, then this man would have been an immortalised hat-trick hero in that match. A Roy of the Rovers hat-trick in the Champions League. I mean, that would have been Man City's Lucas Moura moment to stick them into a semi-final with Ajax, which they would obviously have won. People say he's been off form for years. I mean, when England fans saw his name on the team sheet for Euro 2020, they almost used that as proof that Gareth Southgate had scrambled egg for brains. Yeah, he'd still scored 14 goals in all competitions that season. I mean, even last season, he started 22 games on the bench for City and still wound up with 17 goals. I'm pretty sure I know the reason for this. It's because back in 2015, everyone just made their mind up that he was an out-of-touch brat. He was rejecting a £100,000 a week deal at Liverpool after a 7-goal season where they just finished 6th in the league and had just been battered 6-1 by Stoke. So him trying to absolve blame and escape that, thinking he was too big for Liverpool, I mean, it would be a bit like if Jadon Sancho had tried to storm out of Old Trafford this summer, turning down a fat new contract to jump ship. Pretty sure he'd have also had the whole country wanting to throw milkshakes at him in the street. I mean, even more so than last summer. And we live in a world where footballers never criticize each other in public. I mean, guys, well, Steven Gerrard played a season with Mario Balotelli and never said a word. So when Gerrard literally came out in the summer of 2015, while still a teammate of Sterling, and publicly condemned his carry on, he basically put Sterling in the mud. I mean, Christ, well, Luis Suarez tried to force a move to Arsenal. And Gerrard was too scared to say anything. But no, fine, it'll bully a 20-year-old in public. Even him, as the Liverpool captain and club legend, saying that about Sterling. Honestly, it didn't help, because when people think you're a bit of a gumby, they're not gonna change their mind quickly. I mean, good Christ, Justin Bieber could single-handedly cure hunger in Botswana, but he still have most people on the planet wishing he'd get pushed in front of a bus. And the fact that City then agreed to pay £50 million for a kid who up until that moment had proven to have the end product of a blocked sink, everyone unanimously called that a waste of money and proved that football had gone mad. I mean, this is a summer where some Liverpool fans actually thought that Jordan Ibe was the better player. I mean, when you become the face of English tax, you know, of all English footballers being overpriced, it's hard to shake that off. And the fact is, in his first 2 seasons at the Etihad, Sterling was about as devastating in front of goal as a stiff tissue. 6 league goals under Manuel Pellegrini and 7 league goals under Guardiola. I mean, that is 2 years of being cemented in everybody's mind as a £50 million flop. And let's not forget, this man was the most expensive footballer in that England team, which were booted out of Euro 2016 by Iceland. England's darkest ever moment, and yeah, he played an hour of that match. Again, massive £50 million flop, right? I mean, this guy who was linked with Arsenal 5 years ago, and they didn't even want him. I mean, why would they when they got Theo Walcott on the wing, right? The fact is, since that summer, he has scored 110 goals for Manchester City. I think it proves to everyone who said that he couldn't finish, please go wash your face in a toilet bowl. I mean, Sadio Mane has been in the Premier League roughly as long as Sterling, right? Well, he's only scored 2 more Premier League goals than him. Sterling is level on Premier League goals with Ryan Giggs, who played every week in this league for about 30 years. I mean, there was a narrative that Sterling couldn't score for England either, right? Yeah, since 2019, he scored 15 goals for his country. I mean, that's just another myth. If there's any Chelsea fan unhappy that they're trying to buy Raheem Sterling, then honestly, it just hurts my brain. This is a proven 15 to 30 goal a season superstar. I know he's only got a year left on his contract, but so, just pay the damn money. Because this is a guy who turns 28 in December. You don't really have much time to delay. Man City want about £60 million, right? Well, don't tell me that's a problem, because last summer you spent £100 million on Lukaku. You know, that big bag of wine gums you're trying to dump back to Inter Milan on loan? You spent £50 million on a left back who barely plays. I mean, it's a similar fee to what you pay for Timo Werner. And in front of goal, he's been a horrific financial cowpatch. A front three of Mason Mount, Kai Havertz and Raheem Sterling. To me, the link-up play, the dribbling, the movement, they will be a headache for every club in the world. This club need a goal scorer, and I'm sorry, but that's exactly what Sterling is. And how fitting is it that Chelsea, in their 20th season since the big money takeover, they finally signed someone called Sterling. I mean, God knows they've been tossing it about like confetti for decades. To be fair, they already have Dujon Sterling on the books. I mean, I guess, but he's a right back who's older than Reece James. I mean, if he ever plays a Premier League match for this club, I'll shove an entire Toblerone at my nose. Christ above, that'll be a painful sneeze. But I mean, come on, if Tarek Lamptey was flushed at the Stamford Bridge like a big bag of cat poo, then what chance does Dujon have? But I'm guessing if this move does happen, happen, then poor old Callum Hudson-Odoi will probably have to be talked out of punching Tuchel in the eye. I mean, this is a man who wanted that ambitious move to Bayern Munich 3 years ago. I mean, to be honest, that move to the Allianz probably wouldn't have worked out too well. Because, I don't think the ruthless Bavarians would have taken well to replacing Arjen Robben with the modern day Sean Wright Phillips. But if Borussia Dortmund hadn't bought Jadon Sancho in 2017, then I reckon they would have taken Hudson-Odoi. And he could well have ripped it up in the Bundesliga. Because honestly, the German league is like a rehabilitation clinic for struggling English talents. I mean, it's no surprise that even Demarai Gray, after a 6-month stint with Bayer Leverkusen, came back to the Premier League refreshed and finally understanding how to score a goddamn goal. It's just, he didn't stay in Germany long enough. So that kind of wore off by Christmas, and he's now reverted back to being as prolific as a dog chew toy. But if Sterling comes to Stamford Bridge, then Hudson-Odoi will surely feel like rubbing shoe polish in his eyes. I think Sterling should do it. Let's not forget, this kid had no divine right to reach these levels. He was just a shy schoolboy who spent 7 years at QPR, sitting on the back of the youth bus with James Alcott scribbling up match reports. Wait, hang on. So he was covering QPR youth games as a journalist in 2007? I mean, this guy's got the genes of Peter Pan. He still looks like he's in his teens. Clearly he's been drinking some sort of elvish medicine. But again, Sterling is going to be able to say that he spent his 20s playing for Liverpool, Man City and Chelsea. And guess what? He'll have been involved in a title race at every single one. How exciting a career is that? I mean, that is 3/4 of the top 4. And let's not forget, Chelsea are still reigning world champions. This is your chance to return to London after 12 years away. You get to live in swanky Fulham, and you get to become the star man for an ambitious Chelsea team hunting down their first league title in 6 years. Honestly, Sterling to Chelsea, it just makes sense. Anyway, that's what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Does Raheem Sterling to Chelsea make sense? Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe as always. I'll talk to you in a while.